DOT requirements and geotab operations. If you will be operating a vehicle with a GVWR or GCWR weight of 10,001 pounds or more, you must qualify the vehicle. The information in and on the vehicle should include vehicle registration, insurance card, proof of annual inspection, driver vehicle inspection report, accident report kit, fire extinguisher, warning triangles, spare fuses, special permits as needed, company name and US DOT number displayed on both sides, and the unit number displayed on both sides. You also must comply with the DOT hours of service regulations and complete a record of duty status each day. All F-350 and F-250 trucks pulling a trailer and most F-150 truck and trailer combinations fall into this category. This table illustrates the GVWR ratings for various SEAS vehicles, boat trailers, ATV and side-by-side trailers, and combinations. Meaning of each status for the ELD. Off. In order for time to be considered off duty, you must be relieved of all duty and responsibilities for performing work. You must be free to pursue activities of your own choosing and be able to leave the place where your vehicle is parked. If you are not doing any work, paid or unpaid, for a motor carrier, and you are not doing any paid work for anyone else, you may record the time as off duty. On. All the time you are working and being compensated. SB. Sleeper berth. Treat sleeper berth very similarly to off-duty. D. Time spent operating the CMV. What is an ELD, or electronic logging device? An ELD is a device that will be attached to a commercial motor vehicle to synchronize with the engine and record hours of service. It automatically records driving time with date, time, location, engine hours, number of miles, and the driver's ID. It has internal synchronization with the engine control module, data retention for current 24 hours and previous 7 days. It has electronic data transfer. It displays data on demand for safety officials, on screen or printout. Drivers required to review unidentified records, certify records at the end of each 24-hour period. It can be used with a smartphone or tablet. Hours of service changes. A 14-hour workday requires a 10-hour break. 11 of the 14 hours may be spent driving. 8 of the 11 hours requires a 30-minute break. 34-hour restart is required after a full work week. Driver can drive for 11 hours after 10 hours off duty. No driving after 14 hours of consecutive on-duty time. 10-hour sleeper berths can be split into 2 periods, 8 and 2 hours. 60-hour, 70-day schedule gives 60 hours of on-duty time available in a 7 consecutive day cycle. A 70-hour, 8-day schedule gives 70 hours on-duty time available in an 8 consecutive day cycle. Example, 14-hour duty limit. You have 10 consecutive hours off and you come to work at 6 a.m. You must not drive your truck after 8 p.m. that evening, which is 14 hours later. You may do other work after 8 p.m., but you cannot do any more driving until you've taken another 10 consecutive hours off. Short haul rules. For non-CDL holders, you will need to fill out a driver time record for each day. This only applies to drivers operating within a 150 air mile radius of their normal work location. The driver can drive for 11 hours after 10 hours of off-duty time. No driving after 14 hours of consecutive on-duty time. There's no rest requirement, and a 34-hour restart is available. Hours of service regulations continued. On-duty time means all time from the time a driver begins to work or is required to be in readiness to work until the time the driver is relieved from work and all responsibilities for performing work. Please read the following to make sure you understand on-duty time. In-vehicle requirements for drivers and edits. In-vehicle requirements. ELD User's Manual. Instruction sheet for transferring hours of service records to safety officials. Instruction sheet on reporting ELD malfunctions and record-keeping procedures during ELD malfunctions. A supply of paper tracking forms for at least 8 days in case of ELD malfunctions. Registration for all vehicles and trailers, fire extinguisher, spare fuses, and safety triangles. ELD and edits. Edits are limited with ELDs. Driving time cannot be changed. Edits are only supposed to be used to add missing information or correct mistakes. Annotations are used to provide explanations for records or to give the reason for an edit. Best practice is to limit edits, annotations, and avoid potential ELD malfunctions. Certify edits only if they are correct and true. Reminder, law enforcement will be trained to recognize edits and look for unassigned miles. Drivers are responsible for inspecting their vehicles. Do a walk-around inspection. Check your lights. Check the engine compartment. Check your tires and air pressure. Check the brake system. Inspect the inside of the cab. Test the engine and horns. In the event of a roadside inspection, the driver must provide the officer the device or printout of the ELD if requested. The DOT inspector is going to check a driver's medical examiner's certificate, drug and alcohol use, daily logs, hours of service documentation, seatbelt use. The inspector will also check the driver and the vehicle inspection reports, brake system, coupling devices, exhaust system, truck frame, fuel system, turn signals and brake lamps, tail lamps and headlamps, lamps on projecting loads, safe loading, steering mechanism, suspension, tire, van and open trailer bodies, wheels and rims, and windshield wipers. No driver is permitted to operate a motor vehicle when his or her ability and/or alertness is impaired by fatigue, illness, or any other cause that makes it unsafe to begin or continue to drive the vehicle. No driver may be on duty and possess, be under the influence of, or use drugs or alcohol. All drivers and passengers operating or riding in a company vehicle must wear seat belts. Every commercial motor vehicle must be operated in accordance with the laws, including the speed limits. Radar detectors are not permitted. No driver shall use a handheld mobile telephone while driving a commercial motor vehicle. Texting is strictly prohibited. No dialing, no texting, no handheld cell phones. Cs will maintain a file for each qualified driver. The file will include the driver's application for employment, a copy of the driver's motor vehicle record, a copy of the driver's license, a note relating to the annual review of the driver's driving record, a list of violations, as well as the medical examiner's certificate.